What's going on, guys? It's Jarrid Centamore. I just got back from the Philadelphia Regionals, over about 600 players, and as you can see, I came in second place. I have the deck box here, the playmat, and the deck I played all laid out for you. I'm going to be going over the cards' choices, why I played them, etc., some of the rounds, what I played against. So it's the first Yu-Gi-Oh video of the channel, but I hope you guys enjoy. So we played 6 monsters for the deck. We played 2 Maiden, 3 Ignis, 1 Dynamite. I felt this ratio was the best. With the loss of the extra terraforming, finding a monster is harder, so I wanted to include Maiden for consistency. These 4 are pretty obvious, I'd say. There's not really much reason to change that ratio. And surprisingly, a lot of people made me go, chose for me to go first after I lost the dice roll, because they were either maining Nibiru or Dark Lore No More and stuff like that. So when they did that, they just lost to, Ignis plus spell card or Ignis plus trap card, because that going second play is still super, super strong. And then going for spells, but I always played 3 Diagram, 1 Terraforming for consistency. It really is the best card of the deck. Even the 300 and the Campier's Robot Battle came up so many times. It's just so good in so many different situations. We played 3 and 3 of each of the Draco spells, Heritage and Draco Phoenix. This is the card, when you play Desires, you always look for this card over Dynamite or Return from the Dragon Lords. I always look for this card. It's number 1 on the list. Heritage, I feel like a lot of people don't play this card right, and people always say that Draco is very autopilot-y, but I think cards like Heritage are the reason why I would argue it's not. I don't think this deck's autopilot at all. There is a lot of thinking that goes into it, and people will either succeed or fail with it, and I think the majority fail, to be honest. And then I played, for the consistency cards, 3 Potted Duality, 2 Desires, 3 Demise. I know a lot of people don't like the high ratios of these two, but I chose to run with them, again, for the consistency. I always want to see them. I'd rather see 2 of them than not see them at all and brick completely, when one of them can fix my hand. I'd rather have the 1 dead card and be able to play than have 5 dead cards completely and not do anything. This is very debatable. I know a lot of people don't like double Desires, because, you draw the second one later in the game, you don't want to play it. 20 cards deep, that's a lot to lose in a game. It's half your deck, but, a lot of the times when I would see the second one, it would be a little later in the game, or even if I did draw it early, you can always resort back to Diagram. Any dead card you don't want, just a clear pop is always nice. And then 3 Card Demise. I don't really need to explain that card. It's just a power card. And for traps, we played the 3 True Draco Apocalypse and the 1 Return. I think Apocalypse is the second reason why this deck isn't autopilot. There is multiple times where you can do the damage step trick and stop an opponent's monster from attacking, period. Surprisingly, there is multiple Grand Maju decks at this regional, and cards like Apocalypse are really what shines in that matchup, when they attack with Grand Maju over your guy for 15,000 attack, 10,000 attack, after they Desires and all that, really weird cards. But if you have Apocalypse and a monster, say, you can damage step, use the Apocalypse, get rid of the monster. It chops the Grand Maju from 10,000, let's say, to 5,000. And because you used it in damage step, the Grand Maju can attack, and it's chopped in half, and the attack won't change if they banish more cards. So it'll always be at that attack stat no matter what. And they just lost to you battle phase. And because that it's the Grand Maju deck and they only have 1 time to swing with it, odds are you're going to be able to stop it with anything in the deck. Return, I didn't really... It was good, but it wasn't great. It was just mediocre, really. I never searched it that many times. I felt like Apocalypse is the real MVP now. You're not really grinding that much with monsters, so... Yeah, it was good, but not great. And then, obviously, we still played the Floodgates, but the only one that was relevant was probably the Erupts. I think Erupt was the MVP. That one did the most work. It was the one you activate and your opponents just roll your eyes, especially the ones I chose for me to go first. It was just the ultimate punishment for that. Skill Drain, I like. It's not great, though, because Erupts beats it in so many ways, only because these can still trigger, and these matter a lot when getting the extra value out of the other cards. And when Skill Drain prevents that, it does get painful after a while, especially in matches like Sky Striker. I side this out every time, but I leave these in. Because these cards will still get you value. This will end your own value. And they'll still be able to resolve their engages and stuff like that. There can only be one. It didn't perform as well as I thought it was going to. It's not that it didn't do anything. It did do things, but it was nowhere near as impactful as Erupt. But I think that was partly due from the lack of Salamangreat I played. I didn't play a single one. I played about 2 Striker, 1 Thunder, like 5 Orcust, a Dinosaur. So this card was good against the Dinosaur, the Thunder. Like, in the Orcust matchups, it didn't do anything. Sky Striker, I don't even think this did anything to Sky Striker, because most of the time you just have this up, and it's the same card. There's not really a difference. Like, you're going to negate their effects anyway, and they can't go into the card in the first place. So there's not really a difference. So I would always side this out against Striker, too. It doesn't do enough for me. I'd rather be able to push through with multiple guys with Erupt than to use this card and only have one guy and not be able to get through a Ray with a Link monster. And I think it's siding situations, too, that is the reason that people who play Draco gets the bad stigma, and they just think it's a Floodgate deck. For next, we have 3 Solemn Judgment. This card is probably one of the reasons that I chose to play this deck, because I put this deck down for a decent amount of time, but when I saw this came back to 3, I'm like, wow, this really solves all the problems I was having, which would obviously be Denko Sekka, Evenly Matched, Red Reboot, cards like that. Just complete blowout cards, and it's one of those things where it was, if you had it, you had it, and if you don't, you don't. But there were so many times where I'll be playing, and you say you have like all these draw cards, and you get through your deck, and the last thing you do is say you get into a Pot of Duality, and you Pot of Duality with, like, say you have Erupt in your hand, you just shotgun take Solemn Judgment, and you're not even scared. Like, ending on Judgment, Erupt, Monster, Diagram, that's almost was, I think every time I had that, my opponent lost. They never broke that board. So this card was probably, it was just too good, to be honest. And I played Double Crackdown. This card, it didn't overperform, it didn't underperform, it was just kind of there. Like, the fact that it was a continuous came up, but it being cracked, like, it itself being Crackdown only came up, like, once or twice. Like, I took a Topologic Trisbania someone made on me, and I took a Bomber Dragon. Like, it outed cards like those, which is kind of nice, because you just take them. Like, he played Bomber Dragon, and then when he went the special into his own and activated it, I Crackdowned it so it could take it, and it would destroy itself to get it off the board and his monsters. And then I just Heritaged for draw extra cards. So it worked out pretty well in that scenario. But, like, other than that, like, I don't know. I feel like this could be replaced with a different continuous card, but it was, like, all in all, it was good. I just can't think of a better replacement for this right now, but I think it's fine. And I did not play an extra deck, obviously, because I was playing Erupt. So going on to the side deck, we played 3 Anti-Spell, 1 Imperial Order, and 2 Summon Limit. These are the extra floodgates that I think were more, like, niche against decks. Like, these are only good against certain decks, I should say. Like, I would only put these in against Sky Strikers or Pendulum, and I played 1 Pendulum and, like, 3 Sky Strikers, so these definitely came in. Even going second, I would put these in, because I think that turn 2 is the bigger follow-up than turn 1. Sky Striker always is a turn for setup, and then the second turn is to push through. And even if you flip this on turn 2, it's still fine, because Widowmaker doesn't do that much against you. So I think this worked out very well for me. And the 2 summon limits were for, like, any combo deck, Orcust, Thunder, stuff like that. It's pretty just standard combo decks is what shuts down summon limit. And then I played double Heavy Storm Duster. This also went in against the Sky Striker matchup going first or second. It's just always good. As long as you hit the multi-roll and keep them at bay, it'll always come in clutch. So, I mean, I would probably play 3 of this if I can. And then I would play double Inspector Border. This card underperformed way more than I thought it would. I drew it 1 time, and it didn't even come up. Like, it was just whatever, it was there as a 2000 beat stick, essentially, against an Orcust deck when I was going first. And I don't know, it really could have been anything else. Like, maybe these will become more Heavy Storm Dusters, and it's maybe a summon limit, but I don't know, I wasn't a fan of it. I played some hand traps, 3 Lancia, and double Ghost Ogre. Lancia was probably the MVP card of the side deck, I'd say, because like I said, I played 4 or 5 Orcust decks, and this went in every time going first or second, just because it's a settable hand trap, which makes it kind of insane, because we can do cool combos, like say you would open up with Lancia, and this comes up a lot, where you actually can have like Apocalypse and a face-up spell, and you have a Lancia set, and you can use the Apocalypse to chop their monster in half, so you able to use like Scrapper Cycle or Armageddon Knight, Dark Grepher, or something like that, to destroy the Heritage, and then the Heritage will destroy the Lancia, and then the Lancia will summon Bat out, and then you can use the Lancia to pretty much end their turn against Orcust. And that's really all you have to do, and the turn will end. And because you're playing Draco, you know, that extra turn is really all you need if you need a setup turn for draw onto some of these. Because you only need 1 or 2 turns to be able to get the full setup. And then I played double Ghost Ogre. And Ogre I only played because it was normal summonable, and it would still be useful, and I can get the extra tributes off these. But it never really came up. It was only for decks that are playing Guard Dragons. I didn't put it in for the Orcust deck. And there was only one deck I played against that played Guard Dragons, so I mean, I would probably cut it. So the cards I would cut probably be Border and Ghost Ogre. I wish I had impermanences. I think that would be a good replacement hand trap to play a nice 6 hand traps in the deck. Maybe I'd keep Ogre, I don't know. It depends on the meta. But yeah, I think all in all the deck did very well. Everything performed so smoothly. I went 9-1, 10 rounds, so I mean that's a lot of rounds for a regional. So, and most of my games, they were kind of just blowouts, to be honest. But all in all, it was a good regional. It was good fun, especially the day before my birthday. And yeah, that's going to be it for the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to comment on what you think you would change or how you liked it or any questions you want to ask me. And yeah, Jarrid out.